This could be the next women's Australian MMA fighter signed to the UFC with this very next victory.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event.
Live from HBF Stadium Festival Hall, Melbourne Pavilion. Not even backstage, we're literally outside.
Was that the best fight card in Australian MMA history?
Call me crazy, but make sure you call me when I'm right.
Be good if the Aussie MMA Instagram page would give us a bit of glow up because we're killing it.
Welcome to the Australian MMA podcast. My name is Mitchell Tinley. Just had to remember that. I'm the host of the Australian MMA podcast. Today's guest is Lisa Kyriacou. She recently featured on Road to UFC, sort of transitional program for the UFC. Unfortunately, came up short against a very tough test. A very, very tough fighter who unfortunately got the decision victory over Lisa Kyriacou. So Lisa Kyriacou is back to sort of proving why she should get picked up by the UFC. She trains out of Absolute MMA Collingwood under the great Simon Carson and, of course, UFC fighter Jack Jenkins and the Tough 32 finale finalist Kaan Ofli, who unfortunately went down. But a stellar group of fighters that she trains with. She now kind of gets her second test against UFC talent, this time taking on Cynthia Calvillo on Hex Fight Series 32, defending her Hex flyweight championship. Cynthia is on a little bit of a skid at the moment, but has fought some of the best UFC women, was once ranked number 9 in the UFC, and even some of the losses since then have been close decisions. So it's very important for Lisa Kyriacou, if she wants to continue this UFC dream, that she has to take care of Cynthia, defend her Hex Flyweight Championship, and then hopefully, who knows, she could get signed after this fight, despite it all. So look, who knows, it turns around quick, especially in women's MMA, and even more so in Australian MMA. So let's hear what Lisa Kyriacou has to say about the challenge in front of her, and of course her thoughts on her previous opponent, her teammates doing well in the UFC, and kind of what's next. So without further ado, let's hear from our partners and our friends at PRP Global, and on the other side, Lisa Kyriacou.
Fuel the fight with Australian-made MMA-inspired streetwear and support the next generation of MMA superstars. Delivering unprecedented support to the Aussie MMA scene, support PRP Global on their journey. 100% of profits go to the fighters. Check PRP Global out today.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. She's taking on an ex-UFC fighter, Cynthia Calvillo, September 7th, Melbourne Pavilion for Hex Fight Series 32. Lisa Kyriacou, welcome.
Thank you for having me again.
Is this the official title defense?
It is.
Wow. How's that feel?
Yeah, good. I'm excited. You know, it feels good to be back in Australia after a couple of years. So, yeah, keen as to defend my belt and get another one in this selection.
Now, unfortunately, coming up short your Road to UFC bout. First of all, thoughts on your performance and, I guess, opponent overall?
Yeah, look, honestly, probably my best performance. I'd say my striking, all that was pretty on point. The only thing that obviously cost me the fight was I got taken down, although she didn't really do much damage or attempt any submissions. She got the decision, but that's fine. Tough opponent, not your average female, like obviously is, but very strong. But look, it was a good fight. I'm happy with my performance. Obviously, split decisions suck, but it's just made me more hungry for the next one.
Yeah, what was the sort of main takeaway from that bout?
Just don't get taken down too many times and have a bit more urgency getting up, even if I'm not copying any damage. So I was quite comfortable just playing it safe and working my get-ups nice and slow, but obviously that costs a bit of time. So then, yeah, she got the split decision.
She looked incredibly strong. How strong was she?
Look, honestly, she couldn't take me down off the cage. She only got the takedowns in the open when I was trying to land. So, look, she couldn't really hold me down like much and do too much damage or get me off the cage. So not as strong as I thought. But her appearance was more of the scary thing because she looks super, super jacked. Few too many steaks, I reckon.
What's it like fighting against someone like that when you know the environment you're fighting in is well tested? And it kind of from the eye test doesn't
Uh,
seem like it is. I mean, what's that like? I mean, in the world of MMA, and I guess this goes for Australian MMA as well, there'll be a few people throughout your time where you're like, man, I think you're like, we'll cut to the chase. We all think she's on something. She's clearly
big
not.
traps there. Those
Yeah, I
traps
mean,
are not normal.
look, she's not. She didn't pop. I guess you kind of have to, you can't be too sour grapes with it all. And obviously, I'm I'm accusing her, which is not great. But look, eye test. Look, how does that feel when you're in a situation like that?
Look, firstly, the eye test, you cannot get traps like that. No matter how many mistakes you have, those traps are not coming out like that. Anyway, look, I'm quite strong myself, like obviously very naturally, very strong myself. Obviously, I was a bit more, I was intimidated, not intimidated, but felt more, just looking at her appearance made me a bit like, oh shit, she looks scary. But in the end of the day, it comes down, like, I know it doesn't obviously make her stronger, but it comes down to the skill and all that. So I still felt quite comfortable fighting her. I just had to be smart, basically, and not, I wanted to just keep her on the feet for that reason, because I knew she would be quite strong in the wrestling, especially having a powerlifting background. But look, mentally, I was fine doing it, but I was a bit like, oh, this is going to be quite different compared to other females I fought, because usually I'm the strongest one in there. I've never been on the opposite side of it. So I'm like, this time I'm not the most jacked in the cage. So a bit of mental prep on 100%, definitely. But once I was in there, I'm like, oh, it's actually not too bad. Look, I'm lucky I didn't get clipped with one of her left hooks, because I probably would have got knocked out. 100%, I can admit that. I was very lucky in just slipping those hooks. But yeah, didn't get knocked out.
And I think she went on to lose her next fight at Road to UFC, so obviously not signed either. But being in that scenario, being in that arena and whatnot, do you feel like you're at that level?
Oh, for sure. So being on the road to UFC just showed me, like myself, that I'm meant to be in there. Like everything about that event and just being on a UFC event just showed me I'm meant to be there. The level of opponent, obviously, it was a very close fight, and we're all of us on the road to UFC and all those levels above, we're all at the highest level, I believe. So, I've got my next fight with Cynthia, so I'm pretty, that's my time to really prove that I'm meant to be in there.
Yeah, because she was, quite the UFC fighter. I think she was on a 3 or 4 fight win streak, something like that. She was actually ranked. So obviously on a bit of a skid, but for you to get that sort of an opponent, first of all, how did that fight come about? Because for Hex to kind of pull that off, that's pretty impressive. And kind of how did this fight happen?
Yeah, look, the Hex boys just reached out to, I think it was Simon, I'm not even sure who. Pretty sure they reached out to Simon though and just said, look, we've got this offer. And then we're like, yep, sweet, great fight. I think it's actually worked out very well for me, like having a very close loss on the road to UFC, now getting a shot at an ex-UFC veteran who was ranked, I'm pretty sure she was number 9. And majority of the losses have been against girls like Jessica Entourage and very high level fighters. So I'm really, really keen for this one.
Do you think that people would perceive her as the favorite coming in, or you?
Honestly, probably her. I'd say experience. Like, she's been doing this for years. I've only been doing it, training for 6 years, been fighting for 5. She's 37 now, so she's had a lot more experience over me. So I definitely say probably her being the favorite, to be honest. But that just makes me even more determined to do better.
Is it weird fighting someone who is on, such a skid in their career, but like you said, it's to such immense talent. So it's kind of like, it's weird to sort of judge it coming in. They're not coming in with momentum, but they are, because they're coming in from the UFC. Is that weird to sort of wrap your head around?
No, not really. Look, I've watched all her majority of the fights, and like some were split decisions lost where I thought she actually got it. Then obviously she's had other losses against, like I said, Jessica Entourage and other high level fighters. So not really. I still think it's a very hard fight, and as we've said, she's just had competition against the best in the world. So in the end of the day, she's more experienced than her, and so yeah.
And how do you see this fight playing out?
So yeah, I'm feeling very, very good about this one. Look, she's got good boxing, good wrestling, comes from a good gym. Overall, she's a very hard opponent, I believe, and very experienced and skilled. But I believe I'll have an answer for everything she brings at me in there.
And especially coming off your last fight, is this one of those fights where you're like, oh, I really want to show that I can do this? Or is you just, man, let's just get the win?
Oh no, I'm just so keen to go out there and go hard, honestly. My last fight, so back on the opponent. So my last fight, fighting someone like Yan with that, appearance, just that real intimidating looking, it kind of makes me have another sense of confidence fighting other females. So I feel really good about this one.
We're gonna Are you is there any bit of you that kind of goes, I mean, people know that in a Lisa Kyriacou fight, you might kind of try and beat him up, push him up against the fence type thing and control and dominate. Is there any bit of you that's like, nah, I want to show my Muay Thai off this fight?
Nah, honestly, everything. I've been working absolutely everything. I've been working my striking so hard, my wrestling, my grappling. There's anywhere it goes, I'm gonna have a good answer for it. But yeah, I just want to show once again I'm all around a good fighter. I can defend takedowns, when I'm actually thinking about them. Yeah, it should be good. I'm keen.
Do you reckon there's going to be any trash talk at all? Or do you think she's going to be super respectful?
I reckon she could have a little bit of attitude. Could be wrong. I get a little feeling there might be a little bit there from other things I've seen in the cage. That's fine because I tend to, when people, I hope so, because I tend to get very worked up in a good way when people talk. So it's good.
Do you reckon she's going to be a bit of like I'm too good to be here?
I would hope not, because like everyone's going to have their time. They get in, they get out. That's it. But who knows what goes on?
And before I let you go, thoughts on obviously your teammates' highs and lows. Of course, Jack Jenkins putting an absolute display at UFC 305, but then Kaan Ofli unfortunately falling short in the tough finale. Talk about the highs and lows of supporting your team.
Oh, look, obviously huge highs, huge lows from both of them. Like Jack did absolutely amazing. Super proud of him. The work he's put in is really paying off. Kaan also again super proud. Like the fact he got there, got to that level, got to the finals. Man, he was doing so good that whole fight. His defense was great in the first round. Unfortunately, got caught in the second, but like he fought a very, very experienced, good opponent. Like everyone knows that guy was meant to be in the UFC already, and they put him through tough whatever. But yeah, super proud of him. Obviously, it's upsetting, but he'll definitely be back. He's definitely UFC material. So
yeah, I was gonna say, do you when a teammate loses, because it's always a bit hard because you're always like, chin up, mate. Like it's like, what do you say? What do you say to a teammate that lost?
Oh, look, I just said I'm proud of you, proud of what you've done. Like, not everyone gets a chance to actually be on these shows, to even go international and fight on big shows. Like, they should be proud and realize what they've done is so good. You just say, on to the next one. That's it. Go eat, pig out. If you're like me, I'm an emotional eater. I'll eat everything and then I'm back.
Well, what else you do? I mean, your opponent too, I think, ventured a little bit down to strawweight as well before coming up to sort of flyweight. Missed weight before, but that's, I believe, at strawweight. Any concern of that going in?
No, not really. Look, making strawweight would be hard. I've missed weight started my career once. She has a few times, I believe, strawweight, but I don't think she'll have any trouble at flyweight. It's a pretty big difference.
All right. Prediction for the fight.
A few things. I'm going to have to take that for fight night, though. I just see it being a very, very good fight, and I'm super, super ready for this one. Keen to put in a show.
Awesome. September 7th, Hex Fight Series 32. Lisa Kyriacou taking on Cynthia Calvillo for the Hex Flyweight Championship. It's going to be amazing, and best of luck.
Thank you very much. Good to chat.
See you next time, legend.